All right, checking for sound. Check, check. Sound.
Checking for sound.
Got it. Got it. Sound again. All right, we're just going to do a week preview real quick on a couple of these pairs to kind of give some direction on possibly what may happen for this week. That doesn't mean that's exactly what is going to happen, but possibly what's going to happen. So we do our best and we kind of anticipate things and see what happens. So we'll start with gold. Right now on gold, we had a big move down on gold again, right? Let me get my epic pin out again. I don't know where there it is right there. Okay. We had a big move down on gold again. So on Friday, and then we came up a little bit. So 1772 is the low for right now. What's up, man? 1772 is the low for right now that we're trading in between that range, right? So we're trading in between the range of 1772 and 1782, which was where it kind of is rejecting right now. It's also used to be a support level, now is a resistance level back from October 26th right there. So right now 1782 is acting as resistance because it was previous support. It got broke and now it's resistance. So right now we're trading between the range again of 1782 and 1772. So obviously if we're going to sell gold, I like to sell tops and buy bottoms. So this 1782 area was possibly could be a good sell if we get the pattern that I look for, and that would be that wick at the top that's longer than the body of the candle at the end of the 1 hour, and you would have actually gotten that right there. That candle right there would qualify as that. So you'd be in a sell and you'd be in it and you'd be up on it right now. Your target, if you got into that sell, hey Camille, what's going on? Your target, if you got into that sell, would be that low, right? Your target would be that 1772 low. That would be your first target. But at that point, if you get into that sell and it gets down to 1772, your stops for the way I trade should be at plus 20 or plus 30. If you get plus 100 points on a gold trade, your stops, if you're up plus 100, should be at plus 20 or plus 30, and then see if it moves down past 1772 because it could, right? Like I always say, we're not trading probabilities in trading. We're not trading absolutes, right? We're trading probabilities. So if I were to get into this trade at 1782 and it came down to 1772, right? I wouldn't want to get out of that trade because it might go a lot further down, right? But what I'd want to do is protect myself and protect my profits, because if 1772 gets breached, then you're talking about next levels on the 4 hour, possibly down at 1759 or lower. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to cut my legs out from under me and take that trade out just because I get up 100 points. I want to place my stops in profit, right? Because if 1772 breaks, the next major resistance level would be this next level down here at 1759 from around October 18th right here. Okay, so I wouldn't want to take the trade out completely. I'd have my stops at plus 20, plus 30, maybe even plus 40. Well, I'm not entering it right now. I've said it multiple times on my YouTube streams. I would not enter it unless I got a 1 hour candle close with the pattern I'm looking for. And I didn't take that because that was obviously on Friday, right? And I wasn't around on Friday when that candle. So I would have to wait for a 1 hour candle close with the pattern that I look for. So the answer to that is you can do whatever you want. It's your account, right? But if you're asking me what I'm doing, first of all, the markets have barely been open, right? I'm not taking a trade on it. I'm going to wait for the pattern to set up. And I wasn't around when that candle on Friday had that wick at the top right here, longer than the body. So I'm not taking the trade because it's already going down. And I never sell as the market's going down, if that makes sense. Okay? So I'm not taking that trade right now. It's 5:25 in the afternoon. It's Halloween. I'm going to take my kids trick-or-treating for a little bit. I'm not really worried about the markets right now. But what I wanted to make sure you understand is that we're in between that 1782 and 1772 area. Now, if we break above 1782, right? Let's say we start going above it and then break above and then pull back, then I definitely would be looking for buys with my buy signal, right? And then I would be targeting back up at 1804. But right now it's 35 minutes before next candle closes. I'm not really looking to do anything. I'm going to wait to see how the candle forms, and then I'll judge it based on that. And plus, it's early in the week, and there's no rush to get into trades early in the week. Okay, the pound yen right now is giving this, if this 1 hour candle were to close right now the way it looks, would be the buy signal for sure, because that tail is longer than the body of the candle and it has no wick. You also had a really nice one down here, right there. That would be a buy signal, right? So the pound yen is actually setting up for a buy, but I'm going to wait to see how this candle closes in 33 minutes before I take a trade. But if it were to close like that, I would take that trade based on that candle formation right there on the pound yen. Okay, pretty simple, pretty easy. I did send out a signal to my group on the pound Aussie just a little while ago to buy the pound Aussie. And you can see, because the pound Aussie also had that tail longer than the body, then you had a close of a 1 hour candle right there. So I did send out a signal to my signal group to buy the pound Aussie, and we're up a little bit on it right now, but not a lot because we just started it. But I can show you that I did send out that signal to the signal group. So if you pull this up right here, you can see Telegram. We'll just go to the signal group, and you can see I sent out this one on the pound Aussie just a little bit ago. Actually about an hour and a half ago. So right as the market opened, I send out this one to my group right there. And so we'll see how that goes. We might lose on it, right? Losses are a part of the game. Losses happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. But we know that over the long haul, that we're going to be right about 85% of the time with this style of trading. So if again, I say this all the time, it's like repeating a broken record, but if you know you're going to be right 85% of the time, you just take the damn trade, right? No matter what. If you know you're going to be right 85% of the time over the majority of, some weeks it's a little bit lower, some weeks it's a little bit higher percentage, but overall it's about 85% accurate. And I've back tested it for years and years and years, and I've traded it for years and years and years. So if I get the pattern and I know I'm going to be right the majority of the time, I'm just going to take the damn trade, right? No emotions, no nothing, just take the damn trade. Because that's what the signals say to do. So if that happens on any of these pairs, and it looks like the pound yen is one that's happening right now. The US 30 also had one this last hour, had that pattern to the sell side right there, but now it's having the pattern to the upside, and the pound, the US 30 is definitely an uptrend. So I can sell the US 30, and if you sold the US 30 over the last several weeks, every time you had the pattern, which again to sell would be the wick longer than the body, if you sold that and you just circled every time it had that, you would have made insane amount of money, even though it was an uptrend on all the higher time frames, right? So again, it's a wick at the top of the candle, longer than the body of the candle, and I want no tail at the bottom. So this was a perfect example of one right there. You would have made money because your stops are above there where this is, and it's 30 to 40 points above the top of that tail. It would have came in close. You would have been down a little bit, but you would be okay. Then you made extremely good amounts of money. And if you just circle that every time, even in an uptrend on the 1 hour chart, every time it had that pattern with the wick longer than the body on the US 30, you would have made killer money. So if that's the case, then you should be taking this sell right now, right? You should be taking the sell right now, no emotions, because over the long run, it's gonna yield those profits. So if I trust in the pattern, right? If I trust in the pattern, knowing that the majority of the time I'm going to be right, then you just take the trade. Now the question is, because it's in an uptrend, right? It's an uptrend. So I'm selling into an uptrend, and then what happens if I'm in a sell and then the buy signal sets up because it looks like it might? Well, if I'm in a sell and I'm up in the sell, I just place my stops at break even and I don't take the buy. If I'm not in any trades at all, then I would take the buy. Right now on the sell, I'd be down, right? I'd be down a little bit. I would definitely be down a little bit. So, and because I trust the pattern, I know the pattern is going to be right the majority of the time. What should I have done on this candles? I probably should have sold, right? I probably should have sold. Right? I probably should have sold, because that's what the pattern dictates to do, and I think this is probably a pretty big fake out. So, what do? you take the trade, right? So new order, I'm selling it right now. So I just sold it. You can see it right here. It's on the terminal. And I always have a stop loss of 200 points to start on the US 30. So I got in, and my stop loss is going to be 200 points above here, which would be 36,116. So if I trust the pattern, I trust the pattern, right? If I trust the pattern, I trust the pattern. And then once I get up a certain amount, I'm going to set my stops at break even. Once I get up about 40 to 50 points on the US 30, I always place my stops at break even. So you guys can see that later. You can see whether or not I made money on this trade. Maybe I'll lose again, right? And again, I don't care. I don't mind losing. Losing is a part of the game. I know I'm going to be right the majority of the time. We'll take the trade. On the GJ, nothing's changed really on the GJ. All the higher time frames are still in uptrend. All of them, right? They're still all in uptrend. Despite what happened last week, and I consider the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly all uptrends, right? Those are the higher time frame charts. Nothing's changed on the GJ. The 4 hour is still an uptrend. If you do it from where my circle is, okay, I got to make the circle a little bit different. It's still an uptrend on the 4 hour. From there to there, it's higher, right? So it's still an uptrend on the 4 hour. On the daily, it's still an uptrend. Okay, still an uptrend on the daily. If I circle it from where my charts begin, probably right around there, to where it is now, it's still an uptrend. Right? If you circle it from where my charts are, a little bit below, it's still an uptrend on the daily. Nothing's changed. The higher time frame trend hasn't changed. The weekly is still an uptrend. If you look at the weekly, and the monthly is, let's see on the monthly. The monthly might be a down. Let's see on the monthly. The monthly since August of 2016 is an uptrend, right? From there to there is an uptrend. So you have all the higher time frame charts, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. They're all an uptrend. So when you say what's going to happen with the GJ, if you want to trade with the trend and you know that all the higher time frame charts are an uptrend, what are you going to look for, AA? If you know that all the higher time frames are an uptrend and you want to trade with the trend, AA, what are you going to look for? Are you going to look for buys or are you going to look for sells? If you know that all the higher time frames are an uptrend, are you going to look for buys or are you going to look for sells? You're going to look for buys, right? Buys would be with the trend. You'd be trading with the trend. Now, does that mean absolutely it's going to go up? Does that mean it's going to go up and it can't go down? No, of course not. We're trading the highest probabilities possible, right? And I know that the highest probabilities are that the higher time frames are going to win out in the end. That doesn't mean it can't go down. It just means that overall, I believe the higher time frames are going to win out and it's going to go up. So I would be looking for buys. But you have to look at your charts, and your charts are going to tell you. If you'll pay attention to the charts and study the charts are going to tell you what it's going to do. Yes, if the 1 hour were to close with a tail longer than the body of the candle at the close of the 1 hour candle, it hasn't closed yet, right? It has 25 minutes. If this were to close with a tail at the bottom of the body of the candle longer than the body of the candle, that would be a buy. Yes. Yeah, it's really easy. I don't know how to explain it more easy. That tail right now is longer than the body of the candle. If it were to close like that in 25 minutes, yes, I would buy. Geo, I have no idea because I don't look at the Euro USD because it's like watching paint dry. I mean, I guess we can go look at it real quick. I'm going to get off here in a minute because I want to go spend time with the kids and go trick or treating. But yes, so I will buy the pound yen if it closes like this in. Right, but we still have 24 minutes left to go on this candle, so I'm not doing anything until that candle closes. And if it doesn't give me the pattern, then I'm not doing anything again, right? I don't do anything unless my pattern sets up. So if my pattern sets up, I'll trade it. If it doesn't set up, then I'm not going to trade it. I'll just wait for the next 1 hour candle, right? I'm going to white on this. Some people seem to like the white a little bit better. The euro dollar looks like it would be good opportunities to buy. It looks like you came down to a pretty good level of support down here at 115. I don't know why that's doing that. Let me, 115. Looks, I would be looking for buys on the US 30, but that's just me. No, let's go like a, there we go, that'll work. I would be looking for buys. I would be looking for buys. You had a massive move down, and what goes down must come up. And you're at a major support level. So I'd be looking for areas to buy the euro dollar. But I hate that pair. It's probably the slowest pair there is out there. But I'd be looking for opportunities to buy. Just look at your support and resistance levels, right? Trade around support and resistance. And again, despite what everyone says, supply and demand zones are the same as support and resistance. They're all the same. Supply and demand zones are just fancy words for basic support and resistance. And don't let anyone tell you differently. Supply and demand zones are the same as support and resistance. It's just a fancy word. When they say it's a supply and demand zone, okay, so you mean support and resistance? No, they're different. No, they're the same. It's just a fancy word. Okay? Order blocks, supply and demand zones, they're all based on basic support and resistance. Don't let anyone else fool you. Okay? It's all based on basic support and resistance. It's really, really easy. It's not complicated. Don't make it complicated. All right? So, anyways, those are a couple things that I'm looking for to start the week. It's early in the week, though, right? I mean, you've got all week. You got plenty of opportunities that are going to be available to you. Keep your powder dry. You know, you don't need to make all your money, you know, in the first 2 hours that the market's open. So a lot of the volume won't come in until London and then New York. So keep your powder dry. Don't do no FOMO, homo trading because it's not going to do you any good, right? So just keep your powder dry. IQ, you can join my group by sending me a message on Instagram, Ironman Futures Trading on Instagram, but it is a paid service, and I don't apologize for that. I've been doing this for 17 years. This is how I make my money. I trade full-time for a living, but my Signal group is a paid service, and I don't apologize for that because my time's valuable to me. So, but it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. But if you to join my Signal service, it is a paid service, and if people don't like that, they can kiss my sweet white middle-aged white ass because my time is very valuable to me. So if people don't like that, they can kiss my sweet white middle-aged straight ass. I don't care. I will never apologize. But I think we were 7 for 7 last week, and so just get a hold of me on Ironman Futures Trading on Instagram. There is a hater account. There is a hater account that I have, which I love the guy. Ironman Futures Trading is a scam. I love the guy to death. He makes me very happy. So don't get fooled by that guy. That guy's an idiot. If you aren't doing anything important, then you don't have a hater account. Okay? So there probably will be more popping up as I do more and more. So they're idiots, but we love them to death because they don't have anything better to do than be complete pussies. So we just don't care what they say. But Ironman Futures Trading on Instagram, if you want to talk about becoming a member of the group, I think it's the best group out there. You can look right here, and the signals I sent out last week were just absolutely freaking killer. I don't think we lost at all. I don't think we've lost for a while, maybe a couple, but the signals have been spot on, and I'm pretty happy about that. So that's pretty sexy, I think. Anyway, we're gonna have a great trading week. If you want to get a hold of me, get a hold of me. I'm always available, except when I'm not. So we're gonna have a great trading week, and I will be around. So just let me know, and we'll talk to you again soon.